right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of BJ's Fantasy Corner, the Zoom Pods. We're looking at week one this week, the Texans against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be a good game. I think, hopefully, God help us, the pandemic hasn't shut it down yet. So we're looking at some injuries already and some possible guys not playing. But for the most part, it looks like it's going to be a good game. Right now, the Chiefs are opening up at minus 9.5. So get your tickets in now on FanDuel or DraftKings, whatever your flavor is. My thoughts on the game, it's going to be the Deshaun Watson show. I really think he's going to step out and show why he got paid $160 million. And watch out for him. I think he could be a sneaky MVP this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's easily probably, I say easily, he's maybe the third best quarterback from that draft. I mean, we all know, kind of 1A, 1B with Mitch and Mahomes up there. So, no, I mean, I think I do agree. I think he's got some new weapons they're going to be working in. I mean, I think he's going to miss Nuke a lot, but I think they're going to be going more towards a run game with David Johnson and Randall Cobb, whoever else they got. I mean, I still think KC just rolls them. I don't know about that 9.5 point favorite because, I mean, opening day, I'm sure they're going to want to show out. So I would probably take Houston plus the 9.5, but I have Kansas City winning.
Yeah, and I think the over-under is set at 54.5. So I mean, Kansas City could hit the over by themselves. So
Right.
I would probably hit the over on that and probably take that free money for that. So with that being said, we've got some injuries. Travis Kelce has been apparently nursing an injured knee. Brandon Cooks got downgraded from limited practice to did not practice today. So you're looking at possibly a wide receiver for the Texans who aren't going to be there. And then Travis Kelce, if his knee's not acting right, you could look for him to probably get a few less targets, and maybe they'll hit Tyreek and Sammy Watkins and McCole Hardman a little bit on the outside more. Probably get their new running back into the game too. But let's get to some other NFL news. So that's the first game. Hopefully we get to see it Thursday night. I know I'll be glued to the TV, and I know Jimmy will be glued to the TV. So we're looking forward to that. The Jacksonville Jaguars are officially tanking for Trevor right now. They have gutted that team pretty much down to the studs. I believe Jimmy told me this week they have no first-round draft picks from the last 4 drafts on the team anymore. They just traded away another good defensive lineman in Njoku. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do this year, especially with Gardner Minshew and whoever the running back is they have down there because they got rid of Leonard Fournette now.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there was the tanking for Tua last year with the Dolphins, which, I mean, it worked out for him in the end only because he got injured. But yeah, like I said, they've gutted that the whole defense. They had like 6 or 7 Pro Bowlers. Really nobody's left on it. Like I said, I don't even know off the top of my head. I can't even tell you who the running back is in Jacksonville right now. So it's Gardner Minshew and DJ Chark. That's it. That's the only people I know on the team, really.
Yeah, they're gonna have to rely on him to throw the ball a lot because I don't really know a whole lot else they're gonna be able to do down there. They sent Yannick to Minnesota for a couple of picks. Jacksonville sits at 10 picks next year already for the draft, so that's just based on other draft capital they have from other trades. So who knows if they get a number 1 pick plus the other 10 picks, they may do some maneuvering and get 2 top 10, 2 top 15 picks, but who knows what's going to happen. Let's see what we got here. All right. So the Jaguars have kind of a bad draft history too. Jim, you want to go through their bungled draft history?
Yeah. So just 2010 with the 10th pick, they drafted Tyson Alualu, which has basically just been a bum. I mean, he's been a serviceable defensive tackle, but not the guy that you're expecting when you draft, somebody number 10 overall. And it was pretty much panned when they drafted him too. Like, what the hell are they thinking? And then they redeemed themselves the next year. They had the 10th pick, and they that one of those all-time bad quarterback drafts. They got Blaine Gabbert with the 10th pick. He is currently the backup in Tampa Bay. So, I mean, obviously that didn't work. 2012, with the 5th pick, they got Justin Blackman, who just couldn't put the bottle down. I mean, he hasn't been in the league since 2013. Speaking of 2013, they had the number 2 pick. They got Luke Jokel, also just a bum. I mean, he ended up being like a backup guard. He's not even in the league anymore. And then 2014, the third pick, they got Poppin Bortles, Blake Bortles. I mean, he's currently a free agent. So, yeah, I mean, just those misses alone. And then they've been overpaying and missing on free agency, too. So, I mean, it just, and I mean, we can keep going, too. I mean, there's there's at least 3 or 4 other ones like 2015, the third pick, Dante Fowler. I mean, he blew out his knee the very first play of practice. And he's now is he still with the Rams? I think
I
he's with the
think so.
Falcons now, right?
Maybe he may have even traded the Falcons or gotten picked up as a free
2016,
agent.
Jalen Ramsey, which was an all-world pick. We're like, all right, we're finally turning the corner. They traded him for 2 number 1s because he hated being down there. And then, like you mentioned, Leonard Fournette, 2017 was a number 4 pick, and he didn't even make it 4 years there before they just flat out released him.
And now he plays for Tampa Bay, and he'll probably chase that ring with Tom Brady down there.
Yep.
Well, good for him.
Chasing that second or third NFC South spot.
There you go. All right, the Washington football team has now been the focal point of the league for a little while now with Dan Snyder and the toxic workplace he created with allegations of sexual harassment and inappropriate, things going on. We could be looking at the first NFL owner to get kicked out of the league, kind of like Donald Sterling did in the NBA with the Clippers. So, in my opinion, he's overseeing this toxic environment. So he's the one who has to answer to everything at the end of the day. If he's actually involved in it too and perpetrating it with other people, he's got to go. I mean, either he has to sell the team or just be taken off the board or whatever they have to do to get rid of him. But he's got to go. In my opinion, he has no reason to be in the league. He's been a joke for the longest time. Jimmy, what's your take on Daniel Snyder and the Washington football team?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you're just looking at just straight football, I mean, he probably should have sold years ago. Just get out of there. I mean, they have horrible drafts. They can't sign anybody. I mean, I think his first years when he paid like 38-year-old Bruce Smith and 37-year-old, Deion Sanders, you know, all this money just because he was basically trying to run a Madden team. So I mean, football. Just if you're looking at that, I think he should sell. But yeah, like you said, he's the top of this toxic situation. I mean, you're looking at sexual misconduct, all kinds of things going on there, and it's not like, well, I'm going to be ahead of the football and somebody else is doing that. It's all him. So yeah, I think it's not a good look for the NFL. And I know the other owners. I know they'd like to put a lot of pressure on certain owners to sell and things like that. So yeah, I could see them if more and more stories come out like this, moving, trying to get him to sell. I know there were talks of maybe Jeff Bezos buying him. I mean, not that he's a much better human, but I mean, he might be able to at least turn that whole system around.
Well, the thing is, you need someone who knows football. That's the problem with these owners that want to buy a team and have no idea what they're doing with football. If you want to buy a team, that's fine. You buy a team, but you hire the right people to handle the football the aspect of the team. Don't go in there and say, "Well, I'm gonna be the general manager and the owner." Well, we should pick up Deion Sanders. He was good 15 years ago, right? Well, yeah, 15 years ago he was great, but now he's 37 years old. Come on. So I don't think he'll be around. I think the NFL is going to do some investigating of this, and then it's going to be, adios, Daniel Snyder. Joe Mixon is one of the next players to just sign a big contract for a running back, especially signing a 4-year deal with $48 million. That's hard to say really fast. I don't really have the specifics of the contract in front of me, but he is currently the highest paid running back in the league. So with that being said, highest paid running back in Cincinnati. What do you think about that?
I think it's smart. I mean, you got hopefully, or at least they're hoping, their franchise quarterback and Joe Burrow. So now you got your running back, tied up. You got AJ Green, which I don't think they're going to offer him another contract. I think he's gone after this year. But then you got like Justin Jefferson. So I mean, they have some young pieces. So I think it's a good building block. I mean, they're still probably going to be top 5, top 10 pick because they just don't have anybody on defense. But yeah, I think it's a good deal for him. Like I said, I don't really know what is the guarantees or anything like that. So I mean, it's a $48 million contract, but it may only be like 20-something guarantee or something like that, which kind of makes sense nowadays.
All right, so let's get to our lonely bears, our lowly bears, not lonely, lowly bears. So it was announced this week on Saturday, I believe, that our favorite quarterback, Mitchell Trubisky, will be the starter week 1. Now, with that being said, my big question is, why did you bring in Nick Foles if you're going to start Mitch Trubisky anyway? Why are you paying a backup $9 million to hold a clipboard? You could have easily gotten, and again, Cam Newton was out there for a very long time. Do you know, Jimmy, do you know what his guaranteed money is in New England?
That was only like 550,000 or something.
$550,000. That's all he's guaranteed. He's literally playing on a prove it contract right now to prove he can stay healthy. Now he's got $7 million in incentives he could hit if he's the starter and all these other things. He won't get all that. He'll get maybe $5 million out of it, but still, that's $5 million for a former MVP Cam Newton, not $9 million for a Super Bowl winning one time, got lucky champion Nick Foles, who had a terrible career before that. So I don't know what the Bears are doing. Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, their careers are hanging on this kid right now, and I don't think they realize it.
Yeah, I think so. Foles got 21 million guaranteed, so that's even worse than that. But I think I know we kind of talked about it offline. We talked about it when they first did it. So not only are you looking at, okay, they're paying Foles 21 million guaranteed no matter what. Plus they gave up a fourth round pick for him, and the guy's never played 16 games. So even if he were to beat out Mitch is probably gonna have to play a couple games in the season because the guy's not gonna last all year. And I think it's just, and I don't like to do conspiracy theories or anything like that, but I think it just comes down to they said, hey, we can go get Cam who's gonna beat Mitch out, or we can go get somebody that's gonna push Mitch and be like a veteran presence behind him and help him out. Which you already kind of had that in Chase Daniel. So why didn't you just sign him for 2 million instead of trading the fourth round pick, spending 21 million guaranteed for no reason?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean, the whole purpose of the NFL is to win games. And so if you have Cam Newton coming in there, he's going to win you games. He's a better quarterback than Mitch. Now, I know Cam's got his problems and he can't run as much as he used to, which he doesn't need to. If he can stand back there and drop back in the pocket, he's got a hell of an arm. No reason why he can't throw the ball downfield. And he's been doing it for a lot longer, and he had way more than 13 games of practice in college, unlike Mitch. I mean, my God, Mitch didn't even beat out a guy who was in the XFL. I mean, come on, and he's in the NFL. Well, I mean, I feel like we've been talking about this for 3 years. What did they see on tape that screamed, "This is our guy"? I don't get it. I don't know what it was. He can't read a defense to save his life. He can't hit an open receiver. Now, they are saying in practice he has looked a lot better. Oh boy, in practice against no man defense or in pads and shirts. Woohoo. I mean, I really worry that they're going to start the year out 0-3. I really think they'll start 3-0, but I really worry that Mitch is going to struggle and it's going to be bad to start and we're not going to recover.
Yeah, similarly, I think they can probably go 3-0, and then it's Colts. So that's kind of then you start to go downhill from there. But yeah, no, I agree. I mean, when you look back, and I don't know if I would say it's a saving grace for Pace, but if you look back at the draft, a lot of people had Mitch as the number one quarterback. Now, what the hell they saw either, I don't know, because that was my fear leading up to it that they were going to draft this guy on North Carolina that didn't do anything. I mean, he had one season and they went 6-5 and won the Sun Bowl when Christian McCaffrey wasn't playing. So I mean, I don't know what he showed besides his moxie of driving an old '98 Corolla or whatever it was. Like it doesn't. They said, well, his accuracy, and then they moved, and then they didn't want to go after Watson because of his accuracy. No, he tore Alabama up 2 years in a row. I would have taken that. And then Mahomes, that's a whole other subject because nobody knew he was going to be what he is. So, I mean, it all comes down. They should have got Watson, but you got Mitch. Now you overpaid a backup, $21 million to hold a clipboard. So, I mean, I guess the question then becomes, how short of a leash do you give Mitch? Does he have a bad series? Is it a bad game? Is it a bad string of games? I mean, well, I don't know. I don't know what the game plan is going forward of how quick they pull the hook because I feel like I don't think Nagy wanted Mitch to go. I think Pace put his foot down and said, "No, you're going with Mitch." And then if he, craps the bed, all right, then we can but we
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping that if they I would give him a 2-game leash, personally. I would give him 2 games. If you give him 3 and he's doing terrible, that's going to be really hard to recover from. 2 games, you might be able to recover and have a bounce back. But if he goes 0-3, oh, we're in serious trouble. I mean, we may see the Bears start gutting this team like soon because there ain't gonna be nothing to salvage. You're gonna start off with probably Khalil Mack is gonna get probably traded. I would trade him if I had to gut the team. I'd start right there. Who can pay me the most for Khalil Mack? And that's unfortunate because he's a hell of a player, and I think he could be one of the cornerstones of this defense for a long time. But if we start out bad or it looks like we're not going to make the playoffs and it's going to be just a bad year, Ryan Pace or whoever is going to have to start really thinking about tearing it down and starting over. And that may include him and it may include a coach. And that's unfortunate because I think Matt Nagy is a good offensive mind. He was just given crappy pieces to work with. I mean, what's he supposed to do with Mitchell Trubisky, Tariq Cohen, and David Montgomery? I mean, not one of those guys is a top tier player. Not one of them. So it's kind of unfair to Matt, but he has to live in the situation he has, and I'm sure he doesn't get a whole lot of player personnel decisions. But we'll see what happens. I'm hoping for a good year this year. I'm glad we're seeing football on Thursday and this coming Sunday. Let's get to some funny stories. So as you can see, I'm wearing the Cleveland Browns today. Go Dog Pound. There's one guy in the Browns especially who loves the color brown apparently, and that would be Odell Beckham Jr. Now there's a report out there that he apparently liked to involve with some feces in the sack, if you don't mind me saying. But who knows if that's true or not? But it's pretty disgusting if it is true. I think Mike Greenberg actually almost threw up on the radio today trying to talk about it. So it's pretty gross. But are there any other funny stories from the NFL you can think of right now? That's pretty much on the top of my head.
Yeah, no, that's kind of leading the pack right now. I mean, you got, like you said, there are a couple contracts or injuries or things like that. But as far as oh, you go on Twitter, oh, OBJ's trending. I wonder what's going on. Maybe he said something, maybe it's a workout video, and it's like you go to that, and it's like, oh, that's not what I was expecting to see today. So
he was working something out, or she was, whoever, I don't know. All right, let's look at some sports betting here. I'm just going to pull up some odds real quick. All right, so the Houston Texans are still plus 9.5. Let's see. Again, I would hammer all day long. I would take the Chiefs minus 9.5 in that game, to be honest with you. I would really take them at minus 9. Let's look at a fun one here. No. Oh, Seattle Seahawks and Atlanta Falcons, minus 1.5, plus 1.5. Who would you take in that game?
I don't understand it. They did the same thing last year, too. And I feel like they do it every year where they say, oh, it's Seattle, Atlanta. I don't know. Better give Seattle 1 point.
Yeah.
I don't understand, what's going on. I think Seattle's going to blow them out of the water. So as soon as I see that, that's the first one I jumped on. I'll take that 1.5 all day, every day.
Yeah, all day. And then Tennessee and Denver, 1.5. How is that even possible? That doesn't even make sense to me.
I don't know. Yeah, and then with the Von Miller news being out with his injury.
Oh yeah, Von Miller.
it was a pick, and then it moved to 1.5 or whatever for the Titans. But yeah, like you said, I don't get that one either. And that's what's scary because you see him and you're like, that can't be right. And then it's like, well, they must know something I don't know because why is it only 1.5?
All right, well here you go. Lowest. Can you guess which game has the lowest over under? I don't know if you have the schedule up without looking at the odds yourself.
I'm going to stop looking at the schedule because I'm going. Well, I'm going to say because I already looked at it. The Bills Jets.
Yeah, it's it. Bills Jets 39.5. 39.5.
No respect for our guy Josh Allen.
None. And John Brown, fantasy team on Fook Me. That's my fantasy team. Fook Me. Any of you Austin Powers fans out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. Let's see. So then we have the Green Bay Packers are plus 2.5 against the Vikings, which kind of surprises me. I thought the Packers would be a favorite in that game.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing because I was like, oh, they're only because when I first saw it, I thought it was that they were 2.5 point favorites because I was like, oh, I'll take that. But if they're getting 2.5, then I'll probably take that as well.
So let's get to some odds here for the season. So we've got the NFL regular season MVP. Patrick Mahomes, no surprise, is leading the pack. He's a plus 380 to win it. What's a crazy number to me is Aaron Rodgers is a plus 2,300. I would bet that probably every time because I think he might have a breakout year for Aaron Rodgers. I think he may have a year where he just throws up his middle finger to everybody and says, "Look what I can still do. Keep Jordan Love on the bench." So he's a plus 2,300. And then if we dive a little bit deeper, we get down to the very, very nitty gritty bottom here. You're looking at Joe Burrow's a plus 8,000. Alvin Kamara's a plus 15,000. Where was Christian McCaffrey? Oddly enough, Christian McCaffrey's plus 5,000, which shocks me. He could easily be the MVP.
Michael Thomas is 15,000.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy. He could have 100 catches and 2,000 yards. He'd be the MVP in a heartbeat. Well, how can
this
they
must
put?
not have been updated recently because they have Darius Geis at plus 20,000.
He's not even playing.
I know, like that's. I don't know.
Well, then you got. So you have what's weird is so you're basically telling me that Michael Thomas has the same odds as Le'Veon Bell. They both are plus 15,000. There's no way that Lev Bell and him should have the same odds. It shouldn't be in the same stratosphere.
They have. So, like we said, Michael Thomas is 15,000. Hopkins is 15,000. Jacoby Brissett, who's the backup in Indianapolis, is plus 15,000. And Devin Singletary.
That doesn't even make sense.
I don't. That just must be kind of catering to certain markets and just stealing money because I don't know how your backup you're gonna have is plus 15,000. I didn't even see what Phillip Rivers was on here.
Oh, he's gotta be.
He's plus 3,400.
Oh, wow. That to me seems like a high. That seems like a he should be higher than that. I mean, I would think like a plus 8,000 for him. I don't think he's gonna be.
These odds are weird.
Well, they still have Josh Rosen on there, plus 50,000. You can still take your boy Josh.
That's a bet I'm willing to take.
Put a buck down.
COVID hits that quarterback room, and then Josh Rosen's coming in.
Put a dollar down to win 500. So let's go with. We'll just hit a couple more here before we scoot for the night. Let's go with Offensive Player of the Year. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes again. Lamar Jackson. Surprising one for me, Deshaun Watson plus 2,800. That's kind of surprising. Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald leads the pack, and right behind him is Khalil Mack. Believe it or not, Khalil Mack is number 2, above Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa is plus 1,300. So, and TJ Watt is above JJ Watt. How about that? You got two brothers on the list, right? Not too far apart from each other. And Joey Bosa. So you got Joey Bosa and Nick Bosa, TJ Watt, JJ Watt are within the top, what is that, 10? Top 10 people
yeah,
top 10. Comeback Player of the Year. For my money, it'd be Alex Smith. I think if they let him step in and play, he could light the world on fire with that team. I think. Nick Foles is plus 1,400.
I don't know how. I mean, Big Ben is plus 260, but I don't know how Cam. I already put money on that. Cam's plus 340. I mean, I think he's going to be the starter. I think he's going to put up pretty good numbers there. I don't know. I thought that number would be like plus 120 or something.
I could see Gronkowski winning it too, at plus 550. I mean, he could have a good year at tight end for the Tampa Bay. All right, Rookie of the Year. To me, odds on favorite's probably going to be Joe Burrow because it's usually the quarterback they go with. So, I mean, that seems like a good bet. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire could be a sneaky sleeper at Offensive Player of the Year or Rookie of the Year.
That's who I'm putting money on. So everything that I've heard coming out of that Chiefs camp is like this guy is the second coming of like Priest Holmes, which, I mean, he did okay in college, but everybody, scouts, draft nicks, everybody's just raving, one, over his fit, and two, what he's done. So, which is scary because, I mean, with all the weapons they have anyway, and now you're going to add, possibly a Rookie of the Year candidate at the same time. So, yeah, I think those two, probably Tua, I don't think is going to be healthy enough to do anything.
Well, they're starting Fitzpatrick down there anyway. So, I mean,
right.
Fitz is going to have to get hurt or play terrible to get pulled out. So, I mean, they've rode with him for how long? He's not going anywhere.
Hey, Cole Kmet, plus 10,000.
Hey.
There you go.
They're going to be hitting him a lot, I think. I think he's going to be – he may be the number one receiver on that team behind the corpse of Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, right.
All right, so Defensive Rookie of the Year. Chase Young is obviously leading the pack as being the number 2 pick, so he's a plus 220. An interesting one to me is Jeff Okudah is at plus 2,100, so that's some good odds for him. I think he'd be a good pick to win. Yeah, that's Patrick Queen, Isaiah Simmons. Those guys are all kind of in the top 10. Yeah, so all right, well, we're looking forward to hopefully another good week. Hopefully we can get through without anyone getting sick. Everyone at home, please stay healthy. Make sure you like our channel on YouTube and subscribe. We're also on Facebook. You can find us at BJ's Fantasy Corner, and we're also on Twitter at BJ's Fantasy Corner. So until next time, we'll see you guys later, and stay safe and stay healthy.